Alright, so Wednesday you guys took your mid assessment, which was really just a quiz on unit rate. Because unit 3 is unit rate and percents. So we are starting percents today. So your assumption question says, what are percents? How do we use ratios to help us find percents? Now remember, I told you that we're gonna kind of shy away from open up a little bit for the next couple, well, for today. Then tomorrow and Wednesday we do open up lessons, and then we'll do some more non-open up lessons. Just because we want you guys to have a full, complete understanding, because percents is something that you will use a decent amount in your real world life. It's not something that is just one of those things that I have to teach you because I have to teach you. Like, this is a legit skill that you need to know and understand. Raise your hand if you are missing anybody from your group today. Mikhail? Why is that side? Who sits next to you? Anybody else missing? Mila, anybody sit in that back chair? Elisa, anybody sit next to you? Alright, so, and the way we're gonna do our social question players, we're actually gonna do it after our lesson instead of before our lesson. Because after our lesson, you might have a little bit of information that we can add to our essential question. Alright, so percentage notes, understanding, interpreting, percents. So what is a percent? A percent is out of 100. So think about your grades that you get. Everything is out of what? 100, always, no matter what. So percents, you can go above 100, but for most things in life, it's out of 100. So an example of this is 20% of the votes. Alright, a percentage is an amount out of 100. And then you usually say a large percentage. A percentage can be indicated a percent of one item. In the example they gave you, 60% off of a pizza, or a percent of a group of items. So 60% off of the class likes carrots, or 60% off. 60% of the class likes carrots. give me a thumbs up when you have this written down. Alright, so there are different types of visuals that we're going to be exposing to, you're going to be seeing. There's also one that we're going to be learning tomorrow. It's not a new visual, we're going to actually be using percents and double number lines. So double number lines will be with us for the rest of the year. So percents can be shown visually in a variety of forms. There are 3 of the most common. So this one, obviously, raise your hand if you think you know what this circle one is.
Pie chart.
Alright, so it's also known as a pie chart. So that's the bottom part, but technically the name is a circle graph. Okay, and I know you guys have seen that a lot last year. What does it have to equal? It has to equal 100. Everything that you do with percents will equal 100. Okay? Like I said, you can have 120% of something, but that's over 100, so just understand that. Alright, what do you think this is called? No? I don't think we've done this one yet. What do you think? Nope. Alright, so this is a tape diagram. Why it's called a tape diagram, I don't really know. But if we were doing all the lessons that have been up for the rest of this unit, we would see those. It's just, again, it's a visual, it's broken up into sections you can use a lot with fractions. Alright, and then the last one. What is this one?
100 chart.
100 chart or 100 grid, whichever one you want to call it. Alright, so there are your visuals. Alright, so now we're going to talk about interpreting percents. So when you interpret, I can spell that, when you're interpreting these visual representations, it can be helpful it can help us understand percentage. By looking at these pictures, we can make these observations. More people blank like blank than blank and blank combined. Alright, so we're looking at the first one. So more people like what? If you're looking at that pie chart, more people like what? Right? Okay, what's the percentage?
55.
Alright, so 55%. So more people, 55% like chickens than blank and blank combined.
Cows and pigs.
Cows and pigs. And how do we know that more people like chicken than the cows and pigs put together? What do we need to do with those percentages? Aiden? Okay, add them up. So what's 30 plus 15? 45. And 45 is obviously less than 55. Okay. So, still looking at that first one, excuse me. It says all of the people surveyed about animals like either blank, blank, or blank. So, what do they like? What 3 animals do we see that they like? Gemma?
Cows, chickens, and pigs.
because these percentages add up to what? So what do all of the percentages of that pie chart add up to? Christiana? Alright, so what do you think? More or less than half of the people like cows? So stand up if you think more. Looking at your pie chart, stand up if you think more than half. Okay? Stand up if you think less than half. Alright, so Mila, you're kind of confused, right? So Mila, what's the percentage of how many people like cows? 30%, right? So what is our circle equal? 100. So in order for it to be more than half, you have to be more than what? 50. If it's less than half, you have to be less than what? 50. So 30%, is that more than 50 or is that less than 50? Less than 50. So does that make sense? Okay. So less than half of the people like cows. Alright, now we're moving on to the tape diagram. It says percentage of students who like pancakes. So it says for number 4, blank percent of the students like pancakes. So looking at this middle one, how many students like pancakes? And how do we know that? How many students like pancakes? Noah?
25.
How do you know?
Because you did in 25.
Right, because it's shaded in that first 25. If it was 50%, we'd have the 2 boxes filled in. But it's only 25%. And I kind of like tape diagrams when dealing with percents. Because to me, it's really easy to break it up into, like, thinking about money, because you can think of percents as money as well. 25% is represented by what?
Quarter.
A quarter. 10% is represented by what? A dime. 1% is represented by what? Penny, and 5% is represented by what?
Nickel.
Okay? Alright, blank percent of the students do not like pancakes. Any new friends today? Camden,
75%.
how do you know?
75 plus 25 is 9.
Right, and we already know that 25% like pancakes, so the remaining means that they don't like them. Okay? Alright, and then looking at the last 100 grid or 100 chart. First and foremost, how many boxes are here? Just to refresh my memory. I think I know, but I just want to make sure I'm correct. William? 100. So William, what's my percentage of this chart?
I see 40 or 100%, but there's 40% shaded in.
Okay, so, and how do you know that?
Because there's 4 rows, but they all have 10 columns.
Okay, so there's 10 in each one of these, and there's, bless you, 4 rows. Okay, so 40% of our hundreds grid is shaded in. Alright, so it says Riley B. Running received blank, more or less than half of the votes. So stand up if you think that Riley received more. Stand up if you think Riley received more. Okay, Emmeline, how do you know, sweetie?
Because brain fart.
How many votes did Riley receive?
Only for 40%, and half is 50%.
Perfect. So less. Alright, Riley B received blank percent of the votes. 40%. And then the other candidates received a total of blank percent of the votes. Mila? How do you know? So 40 minus 100 is 60. Perfect. Alright, so these are your notes for today. Alright, you're going to keep those out. Now, on the next page, you have some practice problems on the next page. The page on the next. You have practice problems that you're going to be working on. We're going to go through a few of them. I would keep your notes out, just so that you have them to help you as you're working. Alright, so the top part, and this is where the colors come in, just do, as, I'm a visual person, so I like to have, other than just having a scribbly pen. Alright, so it says create, or you're gonna be creating, different percentages. So it says, shade 60% of the tape diagram. So how would we go about possibly doing this? If I'm looking at the first one, shading 60%. Yeah? Okay. You wanna do tens? Okay, so if we're gonna do tens, how many do we need in there? We're gonna need 9. Can you also divide it into different, what else can we divide it into? Levi? Huh? 30? 30 would be kinda hard, but you could do 30, what else? 25 would also be kinda hard. Why would, well, 30 is just hard because you gotta, for the equal distance. Nobody should be writing anything. So your pencil should be down and you should be listening right now. So 10's good. Why are 10's good? Let's talk about that for a second. Why are 10's good? What is the percentage we're trying to find? Aiden? 60. So 60 is not like a 50. It's not going to be right in the middle. So 10's are good. 30's, that's going to be hard to, again, find the equal distance between each. Plus, you go to 100, so you're going to have 30, 60, 90. It's going to look kind of weird, isn't it? Okay, what's another one we can use? You said 50?
I said
25. So again, we have 25, 50, 75, which is okay, but trying to find where that 60 is makes it a little hard. What else? So tens, what's another set of increments that we could use? Kaya?
25.
Fives, but fives gets hard because then you have to put how many lines in this? A lot. You have to put at what, 20?
19.
So 19? Yeah, technically 19 in your box, and that just, it gets a little sloppy. Jonathan?
Why don't you break it into like 5 sections?
So if you're breaking it into 5 sections, what is the value of that section?
Like each section would be 20, so you do 3.
Right, so you can break it into 20. So you can do 10s, 20s, 5s, whichever you feel most comfortable doing. Okay, so that's your options. 5s, 10s, 20s. Pick one and break it down. Did you have a question? 20? Yeah. And then once you have it broken down, go ahead and shade in your 60%. Alright, stand up when you have this done. Alright. So the next one, you're doing on your own. So slide down to C, D, and E. So for this one, C is gonna be fairly easy. How would you shade in C? Just raise your hand. Don't tell me like what it's gonna look like, but just what would be your strategy? Kaya.
I'm shading 4 and then just
So essentially count. Counting your boxes is your strategy. I don't want you to tell me how to do it like you just did. I want you to tell me your strategy. So what'd you do? You count rows and then you count what?
then we count 6.
No, baby, just, yes, you're right. I'm trying for you not to do it for everybody. Does that make sense? Like, so essentially for this one, you can count individual boxes to get to what? 46. You can count rows and then individual boxes, whatever you feel is most. Why are y'all, I'm gonna lose my mind. We are going through this together, we are doing certain ones. Stop doing all of them at once. Because you're not listening to the directions I'm giving to you now because you're too busy trying to do it. Stop, you're gonna have time. Do you understand me? Since we're so amazingly good, how are we gonna do the next one? Because this is the one I did want to go over. Zoe, how do you think we're gonna do the next one? How do I divide it into fourths?
So divide 100 by 4. Okay. Answer. And multiply that by 3. Count those boxes.
So divide, say, I just didn't hear what you said. Say it one more time.
Divide 100 by 4. Take your answer. Multiply it by 3. And then shading that in the boxes.
Okay, so did everybody hear the process she gave us? So 100 divided by 4, raise your hand, tell me what does that equal? 25. So in order to find 25 here, how do I do that? Because we have to break them into 4 25 boxes. So what's a strategy we can use? To give me 25. So essentially you're telling me that I'm gonna do 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's gonna give me an equal box for the rest of the chart. Because 3/4, that fraction is, you're looking for even. So when we broke up this one up here, it was pretty even, right? When they did this one over here, it was pretty even, right? So with this one, you're breaking it into 4 big boxes. How many are in each box? You guys just told me when we did 100 divided by 4, we got what? Ronnie? 25. So how do I find 25 boxes? That will give me 4 equal boxes. This is not rocket science. What do you think? Isaac, how are you finding it right now? What are you doing?
I'm like taking 2 lines and like throwing those over and then adding 5.
So you're adding 5. Why are you adding 5?
Because it is like the 25 3 times. So
Okay. So again, you cannot, and I'm going to use this paper so that I don't use the one. You cannot do this. And shade that in. That is not an equal section. Right? I mean, because then, I see where y'all are going. Why can't we just do it like this? Too bad I can't count, it's hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you shade in this one, shade in this one, shade in this one. Is that 3/4? Are they all equal? Why are we producing rocket science today? You see how much harder y'all made it? Don't make it so hard. Alright, go ahead, make sure you get this one copied down. So you were doing C and E on your own. Go down to F and G. So with G, you guys have to essentially split up your circle graph or your pie chart. You have to make it into the groups. So Jim gets 20%, Slim gets 40%, Zim gets 25%, and Graham gets 15%. So that's how you're breaking it up. So for F, we're going to answer this question. It says, what percentage of the people surveyed like broccoli? So what percent likes broccoli? And how do you know? You're not doing anything other than F right now. There should be no markers, no nothing in your hand. Emma.
25% because 45 plus 30 is 75.
So you have to add these two together first and get 75. And then technically, what did you do to figure out 25?
Subtracted 75 from 100.
Yes. Now that's a pretty easy number, so we know that you don't necessarily have to do this step right here, but I want you guys to know and understand how to do it. So yes, it is 25% of the people like broccoli. Please make sure you have this written down on your paper so you know. Alright, this second page, you're using the graphs that are already produced and you're answering the questions. Alright, you are doing this on your own. You're not working with a partner. If you want to move around the room, you can. We will be going over this tomorrow before we start our lesson. I do not want to have to make this homework, but if you guys are homework or no homework? I mean, you got essentially an hour and 4 minutes to get it done in class. Exactly. So I'm gonna make it homework to motivate you to get this done in an hour and 4 minutes. Like, there's no reason. Now, if you're struggling or you're not sure, please, 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 I'm gonna ask for help. Okay? Alright, go ahead.